Okay, hey, what's up, fam? It's Blkhippiee here, and today I got Bowie with me. Today, what we're gonna talk about my 5 steps on how to convince your parents, roommate, maybe lover, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, on letting you keep a pet snake, right? So I feel there's 5 ways, or I feel there's 5 steps that will convince them that you're able or ready for one of these babies, okay? So if you're interested, be sure to tap in. So for me as a kid, I always wanted a pet snake. I was like super into them. Like I'd go to Petco and hang out there and like hold and feed all the pet snakes. My parents would like think that I was like bugging them too much, but a lot of the dudes there were cool with it because I was doing their work, right? So I was just always just fascinated with snakes. However, these 5 steps I'm about to share with you guys, I did not do when I was younger, but I feel if I had done those steps, my parents actually probably would have let me have one of these guys, right? So let's break them down, right? All right, so the first step I would say is to do your research thoroughly, right? So irregardless, even if you live by yourself, right, you gotta do your research. There's different types of snakes, and in order to be successful, you gotta have the right, you gotta have the right husbandry, the right setup, etc., right? And also just so you know what you're getting yourself into, right? How big it's gonna get, its temperament, etc., right? How long it's gonna live. Like these are important things to know and to plan for. So what I mean by like doing your research thoroughly is like, it's like talking to, your roommate, or talking to your girlfriend, boyfriend, or your parents, whatever situation you're in, talking to them about, about cool facts, right? Maybe cool fact to drop would be like, one cool fact I love about snakes is that like they're the easiest like animals to really take care of, right? Besides maybe like a goldfish, they're way more fascinating than a goldfish, obviously. But yeah, when it comes to these dudes, they're way easier to take care of because they poop maybe like once a week, once every 2 weeks, once a month. It depends on how often you're feeding them, right? And so when they get older, right, and they're full grown, they eat about once a month, so that's pretty cool too. You're slipping. Snakes are super easy to take care of, so maybe bringing up like cool facts you found out through your research, maybe sharing videos with them of like, cool enclosures that you may want to get in the future, things like that, like things that like they're like people can kind of like get behind you, right? They're like, okay, it sounds like you're talking about, versus it like it just being like it's a spur of the moment, it's this random thing that you're gonna get bored of, right? So you wanna make sure people don't feel that way, because obviously no one else wants to be stuck with a snake, especially if they didn't want it to begin with. And so it's things like that you want to prevent, right? And you wanna make them feel as comfortable as possible. So if you know your stuff, they're gonna feel comfortable, right? Like the false rumors or the false stereotypes with snakes, it's like you can, maybe you can convince them that way, like, hey, like, most people think snakes are like this, but check out this video, watch this person holding them, watch this person with them, this person has X amount of them, let them kind of see the other side, or maybe the snake community in general, because a lot of people don't really know about that. So if you can kind of maybe show them that it's a larger community than just like, a couple weirdos in a basement, right? Like, maybe that also can convince them. Right. So the second step I feel like is just to try to get them into a reptile store, right? So if you can convince them to get into a reptile store, maybe you can like, have somebody pull out a snake, maybe one that you're interested in, maybe one that you've done your research on, and handle it, right? So handle it just like I'm doing in front of your roommate, lover, partner, mother, father, whatever, whoever you live with, right? So that they can see that like, wow, you're not afraid to handle them, and they're not gonna be stuck with handling them, because more than likely they're probably afraid. So that's just a cool way that they can kind of see just how comfortable you are with your knowledge, and just honestly just within handling them, right? So that's a really important one, because I feel most people honestly just don't. Their main fear is like, oh, what's gonna happen if I have to take care of this snake, or am I ever gonna have to hold it, because I don't want to do that, So you just gotta make them feel comfortable that like you're gonna be the person in charge of it. You're gonna be the one to handle them and be comfortable with that. That's really important. Okay, the third step I think is so important, and If I was younger and I did this more, I'm pretty sure my parents would have probably given me anything I would have wanted, right? When it comes to like taking care of animals or things like that. And that's cleaning, right? So clean. I can't stress that enough. Clean your room, clean your car, clean everything, right? Be a clean freak, because a lot of people are gonna make the assumption that snakes are really dirty or that it's gonna be this like really nasty thing, and that's not necessarily true. And so if you're clean, then it kind of, once again, it dispels that, right? So it makes them feel, okay, well, since you're a clean person, you clean all the time, it's kind of hard for them to imagine you having a dirty, nasty snake, or, you know what I'm saying? Like your room is just disgusting. And then on top of that, you have this like filthy snake. So you want to avoid that impression. And so just by avoiding that impression alone, I feel like you're in a good position. But yeah, so with that, if you have other pets, maybe step up your responsibilities a bit more. If you have a dog, maybe take your dog out for more walks, bathe your dog, you know what I'm saying? Like, feed your dog more, take more responsibility with the pets you already have, and do a good job with that, and make sure that they see that and notice that. And I feel that could really help you, try to get your next pet, right? Or if maybe you don't have a pet at home, just like I said before, just like make sure your room is clean the dishes, make sure your laundry, just be a clean person. I feel then, just by doing that alone, most people will probably be really happy with you because you're a clean person, you're making their life a little bit easier. So, that alone could make possibly someone like be totally down with you having whatever you wanted, right? Cool. So that was step number 3. So step 4, but this time I would say instead of like a pet store, maybe go to like an expo. It's like a reptile expo. I think those are great because you can get, hands-on knowledge from like breeders. And that's what I'm really trying to get to, is like talking to breeders versus like if you're at a pet store, I can't really say that pet store, understands like breeding or understands specifically about the snakes that they have, right? Like most of the time these people are buying them from farmers, or breeders, whatever. People sometimes are wild caught. It just depends on which store you're going to, right? And so all those are important information. And if you're getting your snakes and it's a wild caught snake and you're thinking it's just like a, what's called is a captive bred snake, that's a very different snake. That snake can have parasites. That snake can, be super defensive. And so that's a whole different experience than having, say, a captive bred snake, like this snake right here. These snakes have been bred for quite some time and they're just more mellow because of that. I truly believe, I think that if you have a more wild snake, it's gonna be less, it's gonna be more defensive is what I'm trying to say. So with that being said, I highly recommend getting your first snake from a breeder. And a breeder's gonna know everything and they're gonna have all the right knowledge to give you, right? So that's so important, and I can't stress that enough. So yes, go to a reptile expo, and maybe that's where you get your snake from, or maybe you get the breeder's contact information, and when you're ready, you can get a snake shipped to you directly from them. And that's so awesome. I can't stress that enough, because it's not going to be some random person online that you're getting your snake from. And I can't stress that enough, like how much more of a positive experience that would be for you and your pet snake, right? And also your roommate, mother, father, whatever situation you're in. Okay, so last step. Okay, sorry. But with the other step before I was saying, when you go to an expo, try to take your mom, father, not brother, sister, but whoever you're living with that you're trying to convince to get a snake, whatever, take them with you to the reptile expo, because that's the best. Like you're gonna get they can also get direct information from them. And I mean, that's a super knowledgeable person and way better than what you can get from a pet store, I feel like, for most of the time, right? And so take whoever you're trying to convince, take them with you to a reptile expo, and they can also see just how big the community is. And it's just really cool to see, because it's so different. I don't know, it's just a whole other world. And I totally get how people don't understand it until they actually see it for themselves. And so that's a great opportunity for you to convince pretty much anyone that a pet snake, if you want a pet snake, that they should let you have one. So the last step 5, right? So the 5th step, right? The last one, the big kahuna. The big kahuna. I would say it was to save up your money, right? So that when you're trying to get your pet snake, whatever, you're buying it with your own money. Like you don't need, help from anyone else, because that's like the worst, right? You're trying to prove that you're responsible. And so the best way to really prove that you're responsible is that you're financially also responsible. So showing that, I feel like, is probably one of the most important ones, honestly. So yeah, save up your money. You know, make sure you completely like plan out like everything you're gonna need, right? So all of the supplies, and get the absolute number as to what it's gonna absolutely cost, because it's so easy. I remember the first thing I got, like I thought it was gonna be way cheaper than what it was, but you know, even with the research I did, which was a lot of research, I was still finding out there was like things I was still needing. And you know, it's just like, just kind of be aware that you may need to spend additional money, you know, to get all the equipment that you need, because unfortunately, some places when you look online, you're doing your research, they're not going to give you the best advice, right? Or they're not going to give you all the supplies that you need, and that's really important. So yeah, map out exactly where you're gonna put it at, where you're gonna place it. You know, really get your measuring tape, pull it out. You know, maybe look into getting a muscle rack, which is what I have right here that's holding up all my enclosures. Look into getting a muscle rack. You know, my point is, make whoever you're trying to convince feel very comfortable that you have a solid plan, not just financially, but also like placing where you're gonna put them at, what it's gonna look like. You know, maybe show them some videos or footage or pictures from other collectors. It's really easy, like Pinterest, Facebook, and you can see how other people have their setups, and maybe, you know, you can kind of show them that as inspiration as to what you want your enclosure or space to look like as well. Anyway, so that does it, fam. This is Bowie, and yeah, so I actually fed them the other day, and so he's pretty much digested, so that's why I'm holding him now. And so yeah, I can show you guys the feeding video. All right, cool. So you guys just saw them eat. Like I said, that was the other day. Literally like not yesterday, but the day before yesterday. Yeah. So that was the other day of them eating. Yeah, they eat great. They're great eaters. That's why I love boa constrictors, predators, or even boa constrictors, BCCs. Anyways, that does it, fam. Thanks for watching. Until next time, Blkhippiee out. Much love and good luck. Hopefully you do convince whoever you need to convince to get a snake, because snakes are awesome. And yeah, dude, I'm so glad I have my collection, because yeah, I totally love just like chilling with my snakes, you know. Anyways, that does it. All right, until next time, fam. Blkhippiee out. Peace.